cold coming.
Touch it and it'll turn green.
All right, it is 6:30 p.m. So let's go ahead and get started. Thursday, September 12th, and I call the special meeting of the Board of Directors to order. So if we are ready, let's go ahead and jump into the first agenda item, which is comment and questions from district residents. Just be mindful that you are subject to a limit of 3 minutes. Okay. And make sure your mic is on before you speak.
Is it on?
It's not going to be loud.
Okay.
Is it flashing green?
It's flashing green. Hi, my name is Chris Rocco. I'm using my 3 minutes tonight to give district voters reason to elect me and my running mate, Carol Norris, to District Board of Director positions. The stakeholders providing MUD services to district residents sure has seen a lot of changes over the last several years. Our landscapers, accountants, attorney, engineer are not the same as they were the last time I was here. Sometimes you need to shake things up if you're going to meet your organizational goals efficiently. Highly engaged collaborative boards are essential for long-term organizational growth and innovative, efficient problem solving. When you're unable to work well with people, especially those people with whom you disagree, you're often forced to go it alone. Highly intelligent people, like Director Fabre, have a tendency to avoid conflict by governing unilaterally, especially by getting people on boards who think like she does. Having different ideas is key to a successful organization, but doing so in a positive, collaborative way. Our MUD directors must define behaviors that align with our MUD values and operating efficiently, maintaining or hopefully increasing property values, and operating behind the scenes without a lot of drama. Anyone who has listened to any recent board meeting knows that we have a drama fest going on here several times. Different opinions are not necessarily creating bad conflict, but it does require careful management. Boards that spend any amount of time arguing, name-calling, or fighting amongst themselves rarely are able to reach their organizational goals. Over-communicating your expectations, roles, and responsibilities are key to organizational success. All 40-year-old MUDs like ours face similar risks and challenges. We're not unique. Collaborative board leadership helps identify both the risks and opportunities while limiting resources needed to successfully deal with them. My 50 years nearly of governance experience working collaboratively with other board members and stakeholders will allow me to assist the other 4 directors to reach the MUD's goals in our next 40 years. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Carol.
Well, I'm Carol Fowler Norrell, and I am a director candidate as well for the MUD number 1. I have attended all board meetings for the last couple of years or more, either online or in person, and I've learned a great deal in that process. Just to tell you once again, to those who may be listening tonight, that I am a retired educator. I've been a teacher, a principal, a central office administrator. I've been an IEP coordinator for residential schools, and many more things. I'm an experienced leader, folks. I'm comfortable with large budgets, planning and dispensing them, and all going along with all the record keeping that state and federal laws require us to do. Over these years, I've worked with various types of boards, such as Chamber of Commerce's, Superintendent Board, school boards, county groundwater boards, which answer to TCEQ as well as our water board, our MUD board does as well. I've also been a mediator, and I've worked with multiples of attorneys over the years, and I've stood strong for vulnerable populations while having a good working relationships with parents and educators and schools as well. And so I, as well as the public and the private school sector of the world. Sorry about the state. Let me say it that, correct myself. But what we do on the board is indeed quality. We want quality in our MUD board. We do. But folks, really, we work for the residents. That's who we work for. And folks, to do that, we need to provide them clarity. We need to not have confusion. And in that process, we will create trust and faith. And I think they would be supportive of some of the things that we sometimes must have to face. In order to do these things, some of the things that I'm hoping to be able to address, I want to talk about planning for infrastructure. In the process, the engineer has provided us in several meetings in recent times draft reporting on asset management, capital improvement, and updates on a lot of our infrastructures. This board, whomever is sitting on this board, needs to dig in deep and hard and make up our minds to work cooperatively and collaboratively. It's a big deal. It's a really big issue before us at this time. We also need to, yes, keep taxes low, and I think the board's going to address that perhaps tonight. But that's one of the ways we have our values to stay high, and it makes the MUD a desirable place for people to come and live. I could go on and continue to talk about many things, but the time is limited for the night. I want to say I will be a receptive, a responsive, and a responsible director if I will be elected. I thank you for your time tonight, and to all who are listening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to item 2, conduct public hearing on the district proposed 2024 tax rate. Go ahead and take it on.
Correct. So what you all will do at this time, if you recall, at the last meeting, you all authorized a publication of 0.2733 cents for your maintenance and operations tax. That was published in the Hill Country News, I believe, with the details for the hearing date to be today, which is open for residents to discuss. So really the step for you to take, in a way, is what you do is you call for a public hearing. And so you open the meeting up to a public hearing, and then at that time, any resident or director or anyone who wants to discuss the tax rate can do so during that time period. After you have that discussion regarding the tax rate, you close the hearing, and then you all as a board make a motion to adopt the tax rate. And in your packets under folder, I think it is agenda item 3, you can see the order of the board for levying taxes and providing the findings of facts. And that, again, has your 0.2733 cent for maintenance tax levy. So that's kind of the process for what you do for this. Okay. So I turn it back to you to call that hearing.
Okay, excellent. Then I move that we open a hearing on the district proposed 2024 tax rate.
And then they can speak first?
Yeah, and then if there's directors, residents, this is kind of a time for anyone. I think I've only seen in 8 years one resident, show up to discuss the tax rate. But this is a time for anyone who wants to discuss the tax rate to discuss the tax rate. In this case, you all levied the maximum tax rate that you could levy by staying under the 3.5% cap, which would trigger an automatic rollback election. So you published the highest amount that you could. You can always adopt an amount lower than what you published. You can never adopt an amount that's higher than what you published. So we discussed that at the last meeting too. So really, if anyone has comments this is the time to discuss. Otherwise, you close the hearing and you all, as a board, adopt the order levying the taxes.
Any discussion?
I don't want to politicize. I have a couple of questions. I'm just curious. Can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Your time.
I set the rate, many years, and you can lower it. I'm curious to what our reserve that we have in our budget, what kind of part did it play, if any, in setting the proposed tax rate for this year?
No.
None?
We don't have a budget.
We don't have a budget.
Well,
have a
no.
budget.
Well, if you have a tax rate, you've got to have a budget.
We don't have a budget yet.
So you're
Well,
going to
we
set
do
a
have
tax
a
rate without a budget?
No, we
Right.
do have a preliminary budget.
Okay,
that has
well,
not been
I guess
yet
that's
approved.
what I'm talking about. So the budget can't exceed what the tax rate's computing, so you're going to have items in there, and I'm asking what reserve, what part it plays in setting the budget and the tax rate, if any.
It played no part in setting this rate. This rate was set based on the maximum
Okay,
amount that's allowed.
that's a fair answer, okay? Because you could, when doing the budget, always lower it. You
Was
just
our
can't raise it.
intent, but the budget didn't get done.
Okay. And the other question that I had to do it, the preliminary other taxing authorities, I've not seen anybody that have raised the taxes that the resident are going to pay. Does that rate combined with the appraised value, does it increase or decrease or leave the same the amount of taxes that the residents are going to pay?
It's decreased by 2 cents.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
The rate is decreased by 2 cents. Okay, so the tax bill.
Oh, it's
I think it's like a.
Oh,
like 40,000 more.
but what does the average taxpayer's tax
Oh,
bill go
We
down?
don't have that.
No, it's all. It was
$33.
I think it was about $33 more than what was levied last. So the average.
Okay,
tax
it's
bill-
gone up a little bit
Correct.
for the whole year, $33 or $2 and something a month.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll pull the sheet that gives you that exact number and I'll send it to you.
That's good.
The notice of public hearing on tax rate,
Yeah.
it's on the website. If you go to the website, you go to the board meetings page, it's the first attachment under this meeting. It's just
$33.94.
There you go.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I would like to add that the tax rate has gone down almost every year. It goes down naturally, but our expenses have gotten higher, so there was discussion about increasing the basic service fee or charging more for water or whatever we need to do to level out, because we don't have much of a reserve based on the SIP plan that our engineer gave us, that we might need to consider that in order to have a reserve big enough to do the projects that are coming up, the infrastructure projects that are coming up. But until we have a finalized budget, we're just guessing.
Anyone else?
Can I ask what happened this week on the budget?
nothing happened this week. It was last week and y'all will have one to look at next week. I think we have the finalized version this afternoon.
Is that part of the tax rate discussion?
Any-
Well, it is, because you kind of
can we-
need that.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and keep it to the discussion of the tax rate.
Thank you, President.
Anyone else? Since there is no further comment, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and we move then to approve the tax rate. So do we have a motion?
I will make that motion
Go ahead.
to levy a maintenance tax of 0.2733 cents on each $100 of taxable property within the district for the tax year 2024.
Okay, do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Do we need further discussion, or should we go ahead and vote? No. All right, so let's vote. All in favor of approving the tax rate? Motion passes.
Beth? Did you vote no or abstain?
Abstain.
Okay.
Are we no longer given reasons for abstaining? Mr. President?
It's a no. If you abstain, it's a no. If you want a reason, it's because we don't have our budget done. How could you do the tax rate when you don't have your budget done? That's the reason.
So you vote no?
Correct.
Vote no?
That's
Okay.
not abstaining.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
For the minutes, would you like me to put you down as abstaining or voting no?
I was told by Bill that it had to be a no, but if it's abstaining,
Well,
that's fine.
abstaining essentially is not voting yes or no. It has
That's true.
any
'cause I
vote
would
that
vote it
doesn't
if
have the effect of a
Right, so
yes.
We
is
just
gonna
don't
be a
have the
no.
answers to do it, so
Okay.
abstaining.
Abstain because no budget. Okay, thanks.
All right. So let's move on to item number 4. Approve amendment to district information form and authorizing filing of the same with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality.
So you have, it's going to be also recorded in the real property records of both Williamson County and Travis County. This is essentially your notice to purchaser. As you can see on the first page, every year when you levy a tax, you all don't issue bonds anymore, but every year when you issue a tax rate, you set the tax rate, you adopt a new amendment to the information form which states what that tax rate is, and then that gets filed in the real property records of both counties as well as the TCEQ. It's an annual housekeeping item that we have to do. So, yeah, and you can see it's under agenda item 4 in your folder.
So do we need a motion to approve this, or?
Need a motion to approve the amendment to the district information form and authorize us to file it with the necessary governmental entities, yes.
Which states the rate of, that you just mentioned. So do we have a motion to go ahead and approve the amendment?
I move we approve the amendment to the district's information form and authorize the filing of same with the TCEQ.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Linda second the motion. Do we need further discussion, or should we just go ahead and vote to approve the amendment?
I did have a question on the notice to purchaser. Does it still need paragraph 2 regarding the bonds that we paid off? And if so, can paragraph 3 include language that states the district has paid off its bond indebtedness?
So I'll confirm this with your financial advisor and with your offering documents, but the way it's written is it just lists what's approved and then what you've sold. So it's not stating that there's any outstanding debt out there. It's just saying this is how much we've approved, this is how much we've sold. That's format that's in the water code and what we need to follow. I'll confirm the amounts before we publish anything, and I'll send an email to the board. But yes, that's the format that we need to keep, yes.
It just looks like to a purchaser that there's a big, huge bond debt.
No, I know. We've had a lot of people
Misleading.
we had the Texas Realtors, group hounding us when this legislation first got passed, asking for, reasons why, and it was a headache for a while, so.
And I think also the numbers on the amendment needs to be, I think, reformatted, the list.
How so? What do you mean?
Is it 3 and 9? Why is it 3, 9 there? To items numbers as follow, 3 and 9 on the amendment.
Because that's what the district's information form is a much larger document. So this is number 3.
Oh,
that's
just
fine.
item
This is
3
just an
and 9 is item-
amendment to
gotcha.
that information form, right?
Got it,
Right.
yep. So you're amending, so basically the form amending 3 and 9, got it. Okay.
Correct.
Anyone else? Okay, Linda, second the motion. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor? right, motion passes. And we have an abstain. Can you state your reason why you're abstaining?
Well, if I'm going to abstain the other one, I need to abstain this one too. It's the same amount, it's the same number.
Okay, so abstention due to the fact that we don't have a budget.
Correct.
Okay. All right, moving on to item number 5. Let's talk about re-engage Infomark under current contract terms of the amended and restated agreement dated March 16 of 22. And that is my agenda item. I've asked the board to re-engage Infomark under the current contract terms of the amended and restated agreement. And the reason why I'm doing this, it's I believe that we are not ready to move forward to engage a new operator in this district. I think we need sustainability, and therefore the best course of action would be to remain with Infomark until the next board decides what would be the best decision for this district. So I have a motion that we re-engage Infomark as written in the agreement. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a second by Beth. So let's go ahead and open for discussion. You want to go ahead and get started on this? You want to start your comment?
Sure. One, I've heard that MOC is not with us anymore, but the biggest thing is I did read what Cole sent today, and I don't think we have any problems with Infomark at all. I think they've done a great job, and I truly would like to go ahead and extend that and keep them.
I have a lot of the same concerns that you do, Hanoi, about whether we're ready for this transition, which I think we're not. I don't feel comfortable making this decision for the district, knowing that I'm about to not be on the board. I'd like to leave that for someone newly elected who has a long tenure in front of them and can devote a lot of attention to this. I have concerns with some of the customer service issues that the residents receive from Infomark, but they are doing a good job, and this is for a future board to decide.
Excellent. Mackenzie, can you give us an insight on what Director Kelly just expressed, the issue that which I agree with, the issue of customer service. And I believe, our hope is that we can, as we consider re-engaging, that you are considering changes in those areas. Do you have anything to say about that?
We are actively searching for new changes in the customer service area. We're also in the process of vetting out an entirely new billing system that will allow for more automation, more communication between the district and residents. And there are several different avenues of moving targets there, but we're actively working on bettering communication, bettering customer service, and working through any concerns.
All right, that's all I have for now. Linda?
On April 4th, the district formally ended its decades-long contract with Infomark. The decision to rebid the services stemmed from multiple issues, including a base fee that was approaching $60,000 per month, with automatic increase independent of service quality. The district has also incurred over $1 million in cost due to Infomark's failures, particularly the catastrophic Hatch lift station breakdown and the Sunchase Playscape debacle for another $50,000. These events, along with the promise of significant savings, nearly $300,000 per year with MOC services, justified the competitive rebidding process. MOC's proposal not only offered lower fees, but came with stellar references and a promising performance record. When comparing this with the well-known performance gaps of Infomark, the decision to terminate and move forward with MOC was clear. The board voted unanimously in favor of this change. Furthermore, on June 19, 2024, the board unanimously approved the hiring of a litigator to send a demand letter to Infomark to recover the costs related to the Hatch lift station repair. The board has been consistent in its decision-making, and there has been no new evidence presented to warrant reconsidering MOC as the chosen operator. Given this history, it is perplexing that just weeks before the scheduled operator transition, unexpected concerns are suddenly being raised. This last-minute action blindsided the board, legal counsel, MOC, and probably even Infomark, causing unnecessary confusion and disruption. Chapter 252 of the Texas Local Government Code governs such procurement decisions, ensuring that competitive bidding and contract awards are transparent and fair. The board has followed these guidelines, making decisions that prioritize the best interests of the district and its residents. So my questions for Cole is, what is the legal path forward? And how will this agenda item impact the demand to Infomark for the Hatch lift station repairs?
There's 100 answers to give for that question. Again, the best answer is the standard. It's a board business decision answer. It's up to you all. It was, the way it did work was back in April, like Linda mentioned, the board did vote to, or went out for RFPs, sent them to multiple different operating firms. Infomark responded, as did MOC. The board interviewed both. At that meeting, then voted to terminate Infomark and voted to engage MOC after the 6-month termination period happened with Infomark. No contract was signed between MOC and the district at that stage, however. So fast forward 4 months or 5 months, and then the discussions come about, well, hold on, we want to re-engage Infomark, not go with MOC. I don't know if MOC, I've had conversations with Lonnie Wright over at MOC regarding the situation. I know Linda has had some with he may have reached out to other directors. I think any director had the ability to reach out to Lonnie and talk with him if they wanted to. And so in terms of who do you guys have a contract with, you have a contract with Infomark that expires some point, I think at the end of this month. So you don't have a contract with MOC. So you all as a board have multiple different options. I mean, you can, traditionally and historically, this district has always put out an RFQ or an RFP for services. You've done that, at least since I've been here, you did that for me, you did that for Jacob, and then you've also done that in your last go around a few months ago for the operator. So that's kind of a historical precedent that you all have started. In terms of I don't like using the word bidding, because bidding kind of refers more to, there's more limits in terms of monetary limits for bidding. It's more you're contracting with them. So if you wish to put out an RFQ or an RFP again and go through that process, you can do that as a board. If you wish to re-engage Infomark, you can do that as a board. Or if you wish to reach back out to MOC and see if they'd be willing to put their contract back on the table, you can do that as a board. Ultimately, I know that people have different opinions, but it's again, I hate having to say that because it's such an easy answer for me, but it is really a board business decision.
By the way, it's been well over 2 weeks, and I'm still waiting for Lonnie to call me. I believe they've
He has I sent him your contact information, yes. And I will state, I mean, my only comment, again, going back to the whole, this is a board business decision. I don't get involved with the business of the board. I think I wouldn't recommend you all, and I know that Infomark also isn't going to propose this, but I would not recommend engaging Infomark under the current contract conditions. Obviously, we know there was the 6-month termination clause, which is extremely lengthy and fairly uncommon. There's also language I think that Infomark has in there that they've wanted to remove or alter. I know that you all as a board, the whole reason you got into this position is because there were some issues with Infomark service-wise, not performing under the base fee, et cetera, that you all wanted to address. So I wouldn't say have McKinsey give you all the contract that you signed back in 2011 or whenever it was, but do what you all tried to do back in March, but what's the word I'm looking for? Negotiate a contract with InfoMark, should you all elect to do that and go down that path.
David?
This was a shock to me, honestly. I thought we made a decision and we are supposed to respect the decision the board makes, even if you oppose the bid. And respect because the board decided. I have concerns about InfoMark, all the things that have happened during the years, but I'm also concerned about how much time Mackenzie spends with our district. I think she is dedicated 40% of her time to our district, but yet she has 7 districts. So the math just doesn't add up to me. It just doesn't. How can you put 40% into one district and you leave the rest to, it just doesn't add up. So that's a big concern of mine, that she doesn't have enough time she's stretched too thin between all those 7 districts that she has, that we don't get the full money that we're paying for. We're paying top dollar, we should get top dollar service, white glove service. We're paying a lot of money. We pay for a full-time person in our office, but yet not full-time. COVID changed that, and they changed it at their will without looking at the contract. They just decided that, okay, we're going to do this, and without board approval. So that was another concern of mine, is that they make decisions without the board approval. So we're not getting our money's worth there. For us to say that we're not ready to change and transition over, and MOC is a professional company. They have many districts. I guarantee you that they'll be able to take this and run with it and not skip a beat. I have faith in them. I am a huge fan that they are the owners and they are here present and they speak to the people, that the board. Where you get Todd Brewer, that was actually here on the interview when we were interviewing them, he sat in the back and didn't say a word, didn't introduce himself. You are going from a big corporation that is publicly traded and giving them favor over somebody that is a Texan, local, and is here. You get to speak to the owner. To me, that's valuable. It's huge. So that is, with there's no promises of getting better, Is there any metrics on how we can judge InfoMark on their service that we can say, okay, this is not happening, they're not meeting their metrics, we need to look elsewhere. The reason we changed is because they've been with this district for 40 years, or whatever, since, a long time. We've had great success changing our lawyer. We had great success changing our engineer. We had great success. Well, I don't want to say great success, but this district has not fallen apart with all new contractors. Okay, to me, it just makes sense to keep going forward with someone new, and that's what the district needs, is a changeover. Not the same old repetitive click and just it's just shocking to me that we would go ahead and do this change last minute, and so I will not be voting for it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Okay, are we ready for vote? All right, so all in favor? Let's go ahead and vote.
All in favor of?
Of the motion that I stated that was seconded by
Okay, take it.
Okay. Motion passes. We'll re-engage InfoMark under the current contract terms of the amended and restated agreement dated March 16 of 22.
Well, no, we said we were going to re-engage and get the new contract from InfoMark that changed the expiration date on the term. I mean, again, I'm not board decision, but my advice is to get their contract because they have updates for it, like they said.
We'd be happy to renegotiate. The only issue is that we have to re-engage under the current contract term until that happens.
Right.
Because the RFQ or RFP response does not include the support staff, which would completely eliminate that for the district if we move forward with that.
So in that case, can you offer, again, if the board was open to it, can InfoMark offer, how long will it take InfoMark to put a contract out that it thinks is acceptable? the district.
We can start, I
Well,
would say within,
the motion is clear, we can always come back, and the idea is to
Sure.
then, once we re-engage, the purpose of this motion is to get the district in the position prior to this decision. We can always call back a meeting and then do that renegotiation, okay? Or submit for a new proposal RFP in the future if the next elected board decides to do that.
So,
The
if,
problem is though, this contract
I have a
has a
motion and
six-month
I have a motion
termination
and a
clause.
second. So there's a motion, seconded. Are you in agreement with the motion that I submitted?
Yes.
we voted
We
yes.
already
We'd already voted,
Yeah,
so move forward. Okay, agenda item number 6. Okay, provide notification to MOC of the decision to not move forward with the operations RFP issued in March 2024. Do I have a second?
Do we need it? I'll
Well,
second that.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, I think they know.
Yeah. Do we need to do that, or?
That's what I was thinking. I don't
It
think
is
we
my
need to.
understanding
They-
they've also, they've
they
withdrawn
filled
from
out.
the,
They fill out.
It's up to you all, I mean, I don't, I think it's professional to send a letter.
How do all you
explaining.
know all this and I'm just finding out?
Me
Like,
too.
this is all news to me, like, what's going on? Like, oh, you all know this information, but yet I don't know anything about it.
Outside of the public's view, you've made these decisions?
No, but like, how do you get this information? How do you, all three of you obviously know, how do you know
Know what?
that MOC pulled out? Like, this is the first I'm hearing of it. How do you know MOC's not interested?
well,
Like,
that's
what I'm
not the
asking.
question. I have a motion on the table and I have a
But I'm
second.
asking you the question.
I'm not gonna answer that question right now.
Of course, you don't answer
We
questions.
can talk about it later.
You don't answer questions.
Sure.
You're not transparent
So
like you
we
say.
have, that's your view, or your perspective on things, that's not mine. So anyways, we have a motion and we have a second. So let's go ahead and approve this. Do we need any discussion? Starting with Beth, go ahead.
My discussion is I think that we've made the right decision, especially after reading what I read today.
What did you read?
I read the response that Cole sent out from Infomart, and I don't think that they had anything to do with that lift station. And it's not their fault, period. Kelly?
Yeah, I would just say, I think what we're just saying is that Cole's gonna draft a letter on behalf of the district informing them of our decision. Okay.
It's fine with me. Linda?
Yeah, I totally disagree with your entire position on this whole thing, but
That's
it's disheartening. It's disheartening.
the beauty of the
Because,
democracy.
yeah, the
Yep.
beauty of democracy, but you've now tethered us to another 6-month termination clause.
The next elected board can do that.
We can't fix that.
Go for it.
Did you hear what I said? We can't fix that.
Keep your comment. I heard it. You said it twice. Go for it.
That's it.
That's it. David, do you have a comment?
Yes. I'd like to know how all y'all knew before, this board. It's news to me. Like, why can't you answer the question? How did you know? For transparency. Well, Mr. Transparency.
I'm not going to answer your question.
Okay, you're right. You don't have to answer the question.
Of course not.
It's just this, it's politics, man. This is why I hate politics. This is why I hate government. It's just, you conjure up this plan to get Infomart to, behind the scenes, and it's just disgusting. It really is. You're disgusting. Go ahead. You're disgusting.
All right, are we ready to vote? All in favor? Okay, motion passes. You may go ahead and send the letter to MOC. All right, item number 7, discuss meeting efficiency.
I think they're running great. You have done a fantastic job since you picked
Is that your agenda item?
It's on my agenda item. I'm just stating a fact on there, what it says.
Okay.
Whose
Whose
agenda
agenda item
item
is
is that,
this?
Cole?
Have to go back and look through Tammy's, or emails. Let's see if I can find it. If you want to move to the next agenda item, you can do that while I search. I don't get the agenda, most people don't send the agenda items to me or CC me, so if I don't get it, then I just see it on the agenda when I see the agenda.
Does anybody take ownership of this item? No?
And that just could be a carryover from the last agenda, potentially, if no one takes ownership of it.
If you find it, that would be great.
All right, so then, since we don't have somebody that,
Oh, someone at the meeting last month said to keep meeting efficiency on the agenda. So I have an email after the meeting stating that meeting efficiency and discussion about the district operator are 2 items that need to remain on the agenda.
Who?
Let me go check. Let me go check the minutes now. If no one claims it, there's no point in discussing it.
Exactly.
all right, moving on. Agenda item number 8. Discuss resolution concerning number of motions made by the board member, by a board member.
And so this is also related to meeting efficiency, although the prior item was not mine. We're having a hard time coming in under 2 hours, and part of the issue, at least during the last meeting, was repetitive motions being made that had already failed once. And we do limit the number of agenda items that a board member can put on the agenda, and I think that if we had to very carefully curate our motions to a limit of 2, that would help us move along faster. And I have a draft resolution that also does allow that to be extended by a vote of 3. And that's my proposal.
So we have a motion on the table.
Yes, I move we adopt the resolution concerning the number of motions made by a board member.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. Do we need any discussion on agenda item number 8?
Is that starting next meeting or is it starting this meeting?
Yes, we need discussion.
Okay, start with Beth.
I think that because we can only put 2 things on the agenda, I think this is great that we're going to be able to keep it this way. Also on our resolutions, these meetings just drag out, and there's not many meetings in the state that last as long as ours used to. I think what we're doing is perfect.
Yeah, likewise, I think the document allows us to have some accountability in place and be focused and get business done. So I think this is a good resolution.
Motions are essential for advancing the district's business. Limiting the number of motions doesn't serve that purpose. In fact, it can hinder progress. Restricting motions can reduce efficiency by stalling the decision-making process and create unnecessary interruptions in meeting flow. The more freely board members can introduce motions, the more effectively issues can be addressed and resolved. By controlling or limiting motions, the natural progression of discussion and resolutions can be compromised, ultimately working against the goal of efficiently running meetings. So my vote will be no.
David?
Oh, good.
All right. All right, so now that we have a motion, a second, are we ready to vote? All right, all in favor? Motion passes, so.
Me?
Beth, you voted, right?
I voted, yeah.
I'm a no vote. Cool.
Right, y'all are no, yeah.
3 and 2.
I thought we had include in the agenda, I forgot to mention this, but I didn't see anything about budget for this.
That's on your meeting next week.
Yeah, I thought we've had, put that in this, but that's okay.
No,
bring it up?
the intent for this meeting was to just have the taxes.
Right,
But
right.
then we had a few items get brought in, so we did add those. But I think y'all wanted to keep this meeting tax-related and shorter, and then have the budget at the next regular board meeting.
Understood. Item number 9, discuss resolution concerning recording of a board meeting on a personal device.
This is also mine. We had a little bit of an issue the last meeting, a little disagreement between directors over the recording of the meeting. And in the interest of keeping the peace and having some decorum in the room, I have a proposal. The draft is in the folder. We do, of course, want to keep our transparency and allow that recording, but as you can see in my proposed resolution, this would require anyone in the room who wishes to record on a personal device to use a tripod or a stand to put the camera or the whatever device at the back of the room and not touch the device during the meeting. And I think that really will help preserve the decorum of our meetings. And that's my proposal. I move we adopt the resolution concerning recording a board meeting on a personal device.
I'll second that.
Can I ask, I don't have it up, does that include for people in the audience as well?
Yeah, my intent, and Cole can refine the language in the proposed resolution, but my intent is for that to apply to anyone in this room.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Beth, you can go. Do you have any further comment on that?
No, I just think it's harassment, so I don't like it.
Okay. Yeah, last meeting, we've had an issue between two of our directors where one of our directors started recording the meeting and was shoving the phone over to one of our directors. Saw that very clear to my right, and here we go again. So, see? That's all I have. Go ahead.
What problem does this resolution attempt to solve? The key point here is about ensuring that the resolution for recording public meetings balances the participants' right to record with the need to maintain a non-disruptive environment. Texas being a one-party consent state means the participants have the right to record anything without needing the consent of others. In this case, overly restrictive measures like requiring the use of a tripod that sits in the back of the room or not touching the recording device may be unnecessary if they don't actually contribute to disruptions. The approach suggests that resolution should focus on preventing disruptions rather than imposing arbitrary restrictions. The language could center on the principle of ensuring that the recording does not interfere with the meeting's flow or the ability of others to participate without overly burdening those exercising their right to record. For example, instead of saying must use a tripod, it could say recording devices should be used in a manner that does not obstruct views or cause distractions. This way, it keeps the focus on preventing disruption rather than dictating specific methods of recording. And I would like to add that the recording was a result of the tiger poking that was occurring over in that corner. And if that is controlled, then the secondary result of that doesn't follow. So it doesn't fix the problem.
All right, David?
Yeah, so it was I that was recording, and for my protection, because Beth spews lies, I recorded myself, okay? So there's nothing wrong with audio recording. I didn't shove it in her face, okay? You may want to go back to the video and watch that, because that's a lie. I didn't shove it in her face, okay? All right.
Done?
No, I'm not. So, hey Cole, what is, the First Amendment allows people in public to record their elected officials, people in public duty in public places. It is the First Amendment. How does this, I feel like it tethers on that edge of a First Amendment violation. If somebody's sitting in the front row and decides to record on their camera how they please, they're not disrupting anybody, and they ask them to eject somebody because they're not following those rules, they're not disrupting anybody, is that a violation of somebody's First Amendment right?
I mean, I think it's if the requirement, and Kelly had mentioned that this can be fine-tuned, but if the requirement is to that all phones have to be on a tripod, and then someone comes in and, let's say, didn't know about the resolution and doesn't have a tripod and wants to record it, and they're ejected, that could possibly lead to a challenge of, well, I didn't know about the tripod, why can I not do that? But I mean, it's a rule in place. It's not telling people, whether they're board members or guests, that they can't record. It's that they can. It's just done in a way, I guess, that's more uniform. I guess the intent is that it's more uniform and less disruptive, like all cameras in the back or something like that, like a hearing or something. So I mean, everything's open to a First Amendment challenge. So I mean, in terms of that, like it exists. I mean, I think if it's a resolution that you all would want to pass, we would just need to put, more eyes on it and fine tune it to how the board would want it to have its true effect. I mean, I don't think Director Masters, I don't think her resolution is stating that she doesn't want everyone she doesn't want recording to cease altogether. It's just more of a trying to avoid the disruption that occurred at the last meeting type of scenario. And I don't want to speak for anyone, so if that's not the case, please step in. But
All right, thank you. So yeah, the disruption was Beth. It wasn't me. So she was the one that was vocal. She was the one that was. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. Give my time.
All right, so we are done.
Well, wait.
Need a vote.
What else do we have? Hold on, 1 second. Well, we need a vote, right. Something happened, my computer froze. Give me 1 second, please.
I would like to, I want to withdraw my previous motion and make a different motion that we authorize Cole to review the proposed resolution and tighten up the language and make sure there are no constitutional issues.
Right,
And then we can,
It used to be you couldn't have phones at all on our tables during meetings.
right, and then we can review it at a future meeting. That's my motion.
All right, I'll second that motion. I don't think we need any further discussion. Can we go ahead and vote?
Yeah.
All in favor?
I'm a no.
Motion passes.
who seconded that?
I second the
Who
motion.
seconded? Thanks.
Finally. All right, I don't have anything else. Anything else?
Yes, I do need to talk to you all about your upcoming director's election.
Okay, go for
It's
it.
not on the agenda.
I know, but there's no action that's being taken, so I can discuss it. Yeah. Your upcoming director's election. So historically, the district has always contracted with with Travis County and Williamson County. At the time when we came onto the board and we're going through the records, when we were going through the contract documents to work on your upcoming director's election that's going to be held this November, the district contracted with Travis County. We had no record in our files of the district contracting with Williamson County. So it wasn't until after the Williamson County deadline that we realized we can't get a contract with Williamson County to be on the Williamson County ballot. I've been on the phone with them and their election administrators trying to figure out any solution we can to get on that ballot. But that ballot has been closed. So the solution that So I was just writing when you came back. So the solution to that is that the Williamson County residents within the district we're going to have the voting take place at this meeting facility. We'll have a ballot box here, an ADA compliant voting machine, as well as poll workers. I know McKinsey has people at Infomark who have worked elections before. They'll go through the necessary Secretary of State training to be a poll worker. Also, if there are residents in the district who are willing to volunteer, there is a fee that the state will pay them to do that, to be able to be poll workers and run. The dates and the timing will stay the exact same in Williamson County that it would be for early voting and regular voting. The dates will stay the exact same if you went to the polling location there as you would do here. So we're going to try to match that to ensure that that matches. I am the first to admit and understand to you all that that is an inconvenience. It's not something that you all have done before. And like I've always said, I own any type of mistake or inconvenience or anything that my office does. So I'm owning that. This is the path forward that we've been in discussions with the Secretary of State to do this because we cannot get on that Williamson County ballot. I understand, again, that it's inconvenient. It is going to be an issue. Again, and on top of the solution that I just recommended is that we are going to put out flyers to all the residents, both in the mail, on the district website. The water bill will instruct residents to go to the district website as well, telling everybody, okay, if you're a Travis County resident within, you vote at the Travis County polling locations provided by the county. We'll even put those are published, we can put those on the list. And then if you're in Williamson County, here are the dates and the times that you can publish right here. That you can come and vote for if you're a Williamson County resident of the MUD. You can do that here. I want to be able to do everything in my power to provide all the notice possible to residents and every potential voter who can do that. Again, it's not normal. I understand. I had a conversation with Linda earlier about this. We were talking on a different matter, and I mentioned it to her, and she mentioned, well, that's inconvenient and frankly disadvantageous to Williamson County voters because now they have to go to their regular polling place in Williamson County for the general election, and if they wish to vote in the director's election, they have to come here to vote the director's election. I understand that. I'm sympathetic to that. Of course, you all probably know this, but if not, I'll tell you now, the election code does have a provision to contest elections. So after the result of an election, if there's any candidate who wishes to contest that, they can do so under the election code. What that means is that will go to a district court judge. All the evidence will be presented on both sides, how the election was held, notice that was provided, everything like that. The contesting party will present their case as well. District court judge in that case will either rule that the election is valid and the results carry, or will order a new election to occur, that the district will have to do a new election. Those are the two outcomes that you have in a contested election. So it's not on the agenda. We have you all adopted a preliminary order back in August that for Travis County for contracting with. We have been working on finalizing that because Travis County has just begun finalizing or just finally finalized their polling location. So we have that information to plug in. We're also going to be plugging in the information that I just mentioned about Williamson County voting into there. And like I mentioned, we're going to do the flyers, the internet website, information on the water bill. I know the water bill goes out relatively soon, so I'm going to get language from McKinsey for that. Trying to do everything in our power to give notice because I understand it's not how you will normally do things. So it's going to be news to residents that their voting location is going to be different for this one MUD election. It's not lost on me about that. So that is our path forward. Again, the path forward for any candidate who contests the election is to contest the election under the election code, and it would go to a district court judge. I apologize for this and for the inconvenience it's going to cause, especially the Williamson County voters, because now they have to go to 2 different votes, and it's a presidential election, so polls are already going to be crazy. So I'm sympathetic and I apologize to that, but that's the course forward that I think is best, and that's kind of the path that we're going to move forward in terms of this election. And again, I leave it to the candidates after the election to elect whether or not they wish to contest it. So if you all have any questions, please ask.
Can you take the director's election off the Travis County?
So I have put a call in to Travis County to see if it's too late. If it's the issue with that is if it's If it's too late, then it stands, and your Travis County voters vote in the Travis County election. If it's not too late, I can pull that off the ballot. However, you all are a district that sits in 2 counties, so what that means is we would have to find a voting location in Travis County that you all would be able to vote at. We can't, not everybody can vote in one county or the other, so we'd have to do that. So that question's been posed to Travis County. We're waiting on a response. I will let you all know as soon as possible when I get that response.
Can I ask, why would we do that? Why wouldn't you want to take it off the ballot?
So that the election is fair. So that everybody in Williamson and Travis County has to go to 2 polling locations.
Will that have
vote.
to be a vote-approved action? Because I've noticed you've taken action already. Would that require a vote?
To pull off of Travis.
Mhm.
I mean, probably, but I don't know. I mean, it would be.
Well, before you make any action, I think we got to look into this further, because I'm hearing that she's asking that, and then I have another director saying, why are we doing that, right? And so I would like that decision to go through a board decision before we touch anything.
The more people you can get to vote, the better. I mean, why would you take Travis off? I just don't understand that.
So
It's
again,
not that many people, but
my job is to make sure that you all have an election that's conducted in a manner that is as fair as possible. I understand this is inconvenient. When you have districts like this, sometimes it's rare this type of stuff happens where it is an inconvenience and you have 2 counties. Some people have to go here, other people have to do 2 or go somewhere else. And so, I mean, in this case, you know, it would be much easier just in terms of cleanliness with the election, just to remain on the Travis County ballot and do that, and have Williamson County here, put signs up, do all the notices, do everything we can for Williamson County residents. But if the time period has not passed to pull from the Travis County ballot, and you all would like to do that, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable doing that without the board's approval.
Right.
Could you tell them that the board has a meeting next week, so you'd like a decision from them before then? Or
I mean,
ask?
sure, I could, but you all, this is a municipal utility district, and Travis County is Travis County. So the power dynamic is a little, frankly, any county where it's a municipal.
It could prevent contesting an election and having to do a whole thing over again.
It could.
Right, correct. Let's make this clear. Let's not make any action to do that until we bring that to the next meeting, board meeting, and we have a vote on it.
If Travis County gets back and they say our deadline is the end of the month, then great, we have that time. If it's not, I will send you all an email immediately. I'll include all the candidates who are up, so everybody's kept in the loop.
he has a question.
Oh, sorry. Let me
Get done,
yeah.
get done.
So we'll send that email out, and if you all have to call a special meeting, which you can do within 72 hours notice, an emergency meeting to do this, we can do it, and just get a quorum and make a decision then and there. I mean, I would like some sort of guidance prior to that, but we are where we are. So I'm just trying to be transparent with you all with what's going on, but I don't want to do anything. Sorry.
If Linda is really concerned about a fair election, I think the 4 candidates should be involved in the decision also and agree upon something, and maybe even agree that if it's whatever way it's going to be done, that we agree not to contest the election.
If we're permitting question, I mean, first observation is there is a limited amount of people from Travis County to start with that will be voters. The bulk of the voting population is in Williamson County. But then you are providing Williamson County people a place that they know, a convenience, versus Travis County. I don't even know what you would begin to find that people won't go. That's just, I mean, they won't go vote.
Well, you can use this for Williamson County because it's
But
close
you
for
can't do it
Williamson.
but you can't use it for Travis County.
You cannot use it for Travis. You're
Right,
correct.
that's what I'm saying.
Too far.
You are providing Williamson County population a place they know that is convenient to them. But Travis County, that's a nightmare arena. And to find a place at this juncture, I mean, I'm whatever has to be done, I'm okay with whatever has to be done. But I'm sorry this has occurred, but we have to deal with it in the most feasible way possible. But you have to take consideration of these differences that occur. So, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no perfect solution. The perfect solution was contracting with Williamson County and doing what you all have always done. That's the perfect solution. That unfortunately was not done, and so we're here today where I'm trying to find the best solution for the board moving forward. I will be completely honest with you all. I think the election will be contested no matter what. So what I'm trying to do is trying to provide as much notice and trying to provide as much of an opportunity for all residents to understand how this election is going to be different than the last ones, and do that to move forward. And again, it's the,
Is the deadline passed in Williamson County?
to
Is
be
that
on the
the
ballot,
problem?
yes, yeah. So that's where I'm at. So I mean, you know, that's I don't really have much more to say. I'm just trying to provide you all with the unfortunate facts, the path that I think is best move forward, and letting you all know that the possibility of a contested election is likely. Especially if there are, I mean, if there's are candidates who are disagreeing about it now, or mentioning about, you know, it might being unfair because you have to go to two places in one. I have no qualms with any of that stuff. I'm just trying to present the facts as they are.
I think we need to have a board meeting about it, because I think taking it off for Trappist is a bad idea, because at least you're getting the most amount of votes that you can get, because I just think that's the smartest thing to do. It's not that many, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, you could do an emergency meeting, like, yes, you can.
Well,
But Williamson
I don't know
County,
you
this
well
is
enough
easy to get
to
to.
defend you or anybody would say I am, but having been on the board 21 years and seen all those elections, I'm surprised it's never happened before. I mean,
Well, I am
it's
too.
something
It's
that
not happening.
I can see it's very easy to happen.
I mean, it's right in the name, Williamson, Travis counties, but it's right in the name.
But you're doing the same thing twice for one
Exactly.
election.
One for each county.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the name.
So
I don't know
Cole,
how many other counties, how many other MUDs are in 2 counties.
We have a hand. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Some just have slivers of land that don't vote. Others do, or others have commercial that don't vote. Others have larger counties where they work with the other county to provide ballots. These two do not.
Cole, for the benefit of the residents who are watching and wondering how they're gonna vote, and could you describe how that'll work here at the district building, and who will be staffing it, and like early voting and all that?
So right now, the plan is to have early voting for Williamson County voters. Early voting will take place right here at 1000 Old Mill Road. And the hours for early voting will be the exact same hours that are indicated on the Williamson County's website. So you're going to match the exact early voting hours that Williamson County has at their polling locations for this polling location. Of course, this election here will only be for the MUD, only be a director's election. It'll be a one ballot, one issue with 4 directors for 2 positions. That will take place here. We'll have an ADA compliant voting machine here for anyone who might need that, as well as ballot boxes with paper ballots for people to fill out. We'll have poll workers who are here. If Infomark has some people who are willing to volunteer and be Secretary of State, you know, not registered, but do the online training to be a poll worker, we can have that. If there are any residents in the district who would like to serve as a poll worker, there's a state mandated, there's a state amount that you can get paid.
We can also hire temporary staff to do that too. That way it's
Outside
not
the district.
Infomark employees, just to make that very clear. You can bring in a staffing agency that has poll workers that our staff would be happy to do that. I work with several, and I think there are also people in the district that are also certified poll workers that would likely be happy to work with as well. So you have multiple options. It's not necessarily going to be Infomark employees. We have done this for other districts, and what we did is they had a poll worker come in that was certified, and then we had a staff member stay at the community building that it was taking place at, just to have a member there to close up and open, because it goes typically beyond business hours. for the vote, it's usually what, 7 to 7?
7 to 7.
So it goes beyond the typical business hours.
It goes beyond 7, it goes beyond 7 PM.
Well,
So they're in line.
Well, yeah, if you're in line, yes, but the official hours are 7 to 7, yes. And so that is the plan for right now, that's the path forward. And again, I'll say it again, if there are candidates who wish to contest the election or the results of the election, they can do so after there's a time period prescribed in the election code to do it, but after the votes are canvassed, the candidates can contest the election and it goes to a judge, and a judge will look at the facts and determine whether the election stands or to call a new election, and the judge will order a new election for the governing body to do.
Is there any chance a new election can be conducted by Williamson County like it was supposed to be originally?
I mean, it's something that we've been working on with the Secretary of State. So they're looking into right now whether or not the MUD can call a special election on a non-election date to do this, or if the MUD can just move its election date to the May election date, which is a regular election date. So there are options. I'll say the TCEQ does not have much input on the matter. They are okay, or I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but they're okay with either decision. They just kind of they collect the facts. It's the Secretary of State's office that will determine whether or not, the Secretary of State and then a judge determine whether or not an election is held in accordance with the election code. So we're trying to exhaust all possible options to make this as easy and seamless as possible. And again, we're in this situation, and I'm just trying to exhaust every option possible to resolve it. And frankly, I mean, I don't know if the election was contested and the judge were to order a new election, I would tend to think that election might take place on the May election date, but I'm not sure. I've never had. I would think that would be the easiest solution. So I mean, I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth, but that could be an outcome of a contested election, is to do that. And then we have confirmation from both Williamson and Travis counties that they're both going to be conducting May elections, and that both are offering to contract with special purpose districts or political subdivisions for the May election. Oftentimes there are counties who will only contract with political subdivisions for the November election and not May. And now Harris County has said that they're not doing it for any election, so yeah. So again, apologize, I'm trying to bring the facts as they are. There's no action for you all. I'm trying to just be as transparent and present everything as possible to you, the board, to the general public. I'm going to continue moving forward with the Secretary of State's office, with the county, seeing what all we can do. Otherwise, what I just described is the plan that I'm going to be implementing. And again, anyone who wishes to contest the election can do so. So that's all I have. And again, I'm sorry.
Anyone else?
No.
Mistakes happen. So
Not often,
just
but
got to move forward and do what we need to do. So. Anything else? Okay. Move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Let's go.